Hi everyone, this is Gator and or Airhead, depending on where you know me from, and this is episode 6 of Gagatalk. Today's gonna be a long episode. I have a lot to talk about, and as much as I don't want to start the episode off with Valorant, I kind of got to. I've been playing a lot more Valorant recently, and oh my gosh. Alright, I've come to the realization I'm gonna settle the beef here. CS is a better game, but Valorant is more fun to play, if that makes sense. And anyone who disagrees with me is just stubborn, is too stubborn to realize that I'm right. I do have some things to complain about in Valorant though. Why the hell, when I'm trying to exit the game, do they put the sign out button right next to the exit button? Because I'm tired after a long day of playing Valorant. After playing 10 minutes of Valorant, I want to log off. I try and log off, and boom, I misclick and I'm signed out of my Riot account. Why do they feel the need to do that? And why do they feel the need to make them both the same size and color? It's obnoxious. It's tiring. Another thing that I want to mention, why the hell does ISO have a shield that can recharge, right? That can block a headshot from an op? Because they're so problematic, bro. I'm an opper, right? So I'm used to just one-shotting people the second they're in my crosshair. Why is there a character that can just dry peek me with a freaking ghost, actually, and just win the fight? Just because he can press E and survive anything. That's obnoxious, bro. And why does the op have such a slow, shot delay? I don't know the word, but, when you shoot and it does that little animation to, cock in the next, bullet. Oh my gosh. I'm so used to CS. It's so much faster in CS. It's so much more fluid. The op is, shooting a cannon out of a pirate ship, bro. Another thing I want to talk about. Why is Corrode the worst map ever in any game I've ever played? Why is it so big? It just doesn't need to be that big. And the angles on that map are just dumb. If miraculously the T side gets control of, I think, A site. A site's the one that's boxed in. B site is the one that's everything's elevated and then there's window. I might be wrong. I might be having them completely flipped. Well, if you take the site that's boxed in on the right side of the map when you're attacking, it's almost impossible for the CT sides to combat that hold, bro. That's a free round win if you're able to get in there. That's a free round win, and it's stupid. It's stupid. I think Corrode might be one of the worst design maps ever. And it's just huge. The rotates take 10 seconds. I play Neon, so it's not really that big of a deal. But if I was playing any other character, bro, and the enemy team clutches up, plants the bomb on one site, it's a 90% chance I lose the fight if I have to rotate. That's stupid. That's really stupid. If they shrunk it down somehow, I think it would be a really good map. But it's just the fact that it's so huge. It's so huge for no reason whatsoever. I've been playing this new game on Roblox. It's called Project Smash. And it's a battleground game, right? I know. Second you hear that, why the hell are you talking about it? But it's literally just Smash Bros. It has very well-made maps, very recognizable maps. The combat is fluid. It still needs some touching up, right? It obviously, it's I think the dev team is small as well, but it's just a really well-made game. If you're really bored and you just wanna spend hours doing nothing, go play Project Smash. I'm putting you on right now. It's addicting. I've been going to a lot of raves recently, a lot of raves. I recently went to an anime rave called We Touch Grass. Met DJ Alex Cade, super nice guy. I've been enjoying rave culture, I guess. Just going out, talking to people you don't know, partying. I've enjoyed it. I usually spend a lot of my time in my room, so I've been getting more acquainted to going out, and I've just been partying, bro. I've been getting home at 6 a.m. every day. I don't care. I'm enjoying it. I'm leaving my house, ready to party, and I'm getting home happy, right? I'm getting home with friends, that are in my area, because like the raves are in my area. I'm meeting new people who like the same stuff I do. I went to the We Touch Grass rave. Super fun. I just like the music, right? I recently went to a Shrek rave in Jacksonville, Florida. That was so funny. That was so funny. And it was chill. You know, it was enjoyable. The music was good. The visuals were funny. It was just an enjoyable experience. Met some people, you know. I got closer to some people that I didn't think I would get close to. I went to the Halfway to Hallmat rave. If you are going to Holiday Matsuri this year, Orlando, Florida, you can catch me there. I will be there all 3 days. If you, for some reason, recognize me, come get a photo with me. I don't know. It'd be really funny. But Halfway to Hallmat rave, I was meeting all these people who were going to Hallmat, right? Hallmat's just fun. You spend 3 days in Central Orlando with like anime fans and gaming fans, bro. It's around Christmas time too. The vibe at Hallmat is just awesome. Conventions are awesome. Go to conventions. Go to raves. I'm telling you. And if it's like not your thing, I understand that. But just try it out once. Try it out once. I'm putting you on right now. I want to teach y'all about the concept of the hedgehog's dilemma. And recently I've had some of my friends come to me about relationship advice. And I watched Evangelion. I heard the song Hedgehog's Dilemma. Because it caught my eye on the soundtrack. I looked it up, and the title of the song was Hedgehog's Dilemma. I was like, what does that even mean? What does this song have to do with hedgehogs? I looked up the meaning. I studied for like 2 hours, bro. Pretty much, people are like hedgehogs, right? Hedgehogs are spiky little critters, right? But they crave love. They crave intimacy. But since the hedgehogs have spikes, the closer they get together, the more they feel each other's spikes, and they end up getting hurt due to each other's spikes. So the closer they get, the more hurt they get. And it's a really interesting concept, because in almost every relationship that fails, that's the exact reason why it does fail. Almost every. Some relationships are just not meant to be. Let's say someone moves. You know, long distance isn't it. If you're in a long distance relationship, kudos, but I would suggest you get out of it. It's not worth it most of the time. That's another piece of advice. Long distance relationships are not it unless you are incredibly certain they are the one. But if it does happen, I'm not saying go into it thinking that it's not going to work out, but, you know, go into it with a sense of cautious optimism. But back to the hedgehog's dilemma. Yeah, you know, the closer you get, the more you find out about each other's flaws. The more, you know, the more the higher the tendency you are to get hurt from your partner. And I just thought that was a very interesting and very true concept that, you know, it's food for thought. It's a really interesting concept, personally. Marvel Rivals been kicking butt recently, bro. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. Phoenix was cool. I'm excited for Blade. The main problem I'm coming across in Marvel Rivals is I never have a tank on my team because there's no fun tanks in Marvel Rivals. I'll say it. There's no tanks that catch my eye where I'm like, yeah, I would love to go out of my way and play this. I think Doctor Strange's portals are cool. I don't think he's a fun tank, though. The closest I got to enjoying a tank was The Thing. And that's solely because he be punching and he be running around. But, like, he just dies so fast. Another problem about playing Marvel Rivals, and I get that it's, like, sometimes a team problem, and it's also a me problem, because I used to play Overwatch, big Overwatch player. I played Junker Queen. I'm used to just getting in the fight and just surviving. The thing about Marvel Rivals is, since I'm the tank, I have to be on the front line. I have to be taking the forefront of the fight. I'm dying 10 seconds after I enter a fight, and most of the time, well, if I'm on the Thing, I don't have a shield to, like, combat me losing. My healers can't keep up with the damage. I'm just a big hitbox. And I feel like the current state of the game, There's literally no point in playing tank on Marvel Rivals. Some, like, literally tanks, all they do, they're like mosquitoes, bro. They don't do a lot of damage, and they just have a high amount of health. They're just a big distraction. And I don't think that's the tank's role. I think the tank's role is to get in there and be the main problem. The main problem that the other team has to deal with, and I don't think that's the case in Marvel Rivals. Because every tank just dies. They're just a big hitbox. Yeah. I think everything else is good. I think people who are the dirty little flankers who play like Spider-Man and go behind and just kill people, you are my least favorite kind of person. I know who you are. I know who you are. Iron Fist, just spamming A and jumping around the team. I know who you are. Let me teach you a little fun fact about why burritos explode in the microwave. Because, you know, I'm a little fool. I'm a little ignorant when it comes to food. I can't cook. Right? I can't cook. I was very lost and confused on why burritos explode. And my uncle, who's a chef, gave me a very intriguing answer. The moisture, whenever you heat up a burrito, they're very tightly wrapped if it's a well-made burrito. The burrito is like a little cocoon, a little bomb, if that makes sense. The burrito's like a bomb, and the beans have moisture on them, and everything in the burrito has moisture on it. The moisture starts to expand, right? And it's like shaking up a soda. It heats up, the particles expand, trying to escape, but they can't. So the burrito explodes, right? And another thing I found out is that it's not even good to microwave a burrito, because tortillas in the microwave, like that specific kind of tortilla, is just not good with that kind of heat. It's not good with that kind of heat. Moral of the story is, don't microwave burritos. Use an oven. Oven will cook the burrito, and it will be good. Trust me. I think Chopper, Tony Chopper from One Piece, in the Dragon Ball verse, would be the best doctor. Like, canonically, would be the best doctor. Because that little critter would somehow find a way to replicate senzu beans, bro. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. That guy Chopper has, like, infinite learning potential. Right? Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I only watched the Cell Saga, the Frieza Saga, and, like, the Android. I watched all that. I forget which Dragon Ball it is. There's so many. I think it's DBZ Kai. I might be wrong. I'm not kept up with Dragon Ball. I don't know how senzu beans work. I don't know if they're, like, a limited thing. If Chopper was in the Dragon Ball verse, that little critter would somehow find a way to replicate them, bro. He would be the best doctor ever. And you gotta trust me on that. Because during the time skip in One Piece, Chopper went to that island with, like, the birds and the cavemen, and he just studied everything, and he fixed all their problems just by learning it, right? What's keeping Chopper from going into Dragon Ball and replicating senzu beans and just having infinite doctoral potential? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Chopper could pull that off. I feel like Chopper could pull that off. Right now is nuts for, like, music and anime, bro. Anime's going crazy. Anime's going crazy right now. Gachikuta, Tokopi's Original Sin. I might be, like, mixing all these names up. I've been on the grind, watching as many of these as I can. But there's just so many coming out. One Piece is doing great right now. It's been doing great for the past, like, 6 months. But, you know, everything's just kicking butt. Everything's kicking butt right now. It's like, I think the summer of 2025 might be top 3 summers I've ever had. It's probably because I'm 19. You know, I'm in the prime of my life right now. But the anime's coming out, that's good. The parties are good. The music's good. Tyler's dropping an album tomorrow. I'm recording this on the 20th. Tyler, the creator's dropping a new album tomorrow. I went to Chromacopia. I remember going to the Chromacopia tour like 6 months ago. They're like this. It like he's already dropping an album. That's so cool. That's so cool. Pusha T dropped an album. Clips dropped an album. Let me correct that. Malice is there too. Malice is a really good rapper. Pharrell produced that album. I forget the name of it. I think it's Let God Sort 'Em Out. I think that's what it's called. I'm going to the tour. That's a 10 out of 10 album. That's a generational album, by the way. I'll say that. And I would say it's album of the year. Unless Tyler does some crazy stuff, or an even crazier album comes out this year. But the fact that we're 6 months into this year, or 7 months into this year, my fault, time's flying by. The fact that we're 7 months into this year, and we already have these many, oh my gosh, sorry, I can't talk right. These many albums, I don't even know if I said that right. That many albums that are like potentially the best album of the year. It's a good year for music, bro. And a good year for anime. Well, I think Freddie Gibbs dropped an album, maybe. I need to go listen to it. I think it's Alfredo. Cardi dropped music this year. Jack Boys 2. Fred Abstract. Hey, what's up? This is Gator during the editing process of this video. It's not Fred Abstract. I was mixing up Freddie Gibbs and Kevin Abstract. Kevin Abstract dropped an album, and it's really good. Go check it out. Alright, anyways, back to the video. I'm sorry. Like, everything's going well right now. Fred Abstract had that song with Quadeca. Rich Brian's dropping an album this year. I remember the last Rich Brian album that came out. That was like, okay, hold on. I'm not caught up with the Rich Brian lore. I'm pretty sure it was The Sailor. That was his last full-length album. I might be wrong, but that's like the one that stuck out to me the most. This album it's 10 out of 10s all the way through. Every song I've enjoyed, every song I've listened to, it's like been a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. I'll say that. It's a really good time for music. Life's just amazing right now. Take advantage of this summer. It's a really cool summer. It's been a little stormy, but, you know, life's awesome right now. Maybe just for me. I might be the only one feeling that way, but, you know, life's kicking butt. It's a really good summer. I've woke up most days just not stressed out because I know life is good right now. You know, maybe the political whatever could be better. I know there's bigger fish to fry than the newest episode of Dan to Dan, but I'm content, and I feel like you should sit back, look at the bigger picture, and maybe you'll be content too. The world is kind of messed up. A lot of wars happening. A lot of internal governmental issues. I'm not one to get political. I care, but not to the extent of others. But there is that Epstein drama going on where our president is like, yeah, that topic's boring. That topic's boring. We should just disregard the Epstein list. It was a democratic agenda. I don't care. Well, I do care. But, like, you know, the fact that we have the leader of our country talking about Jeffrey Epstein's list not being real, that's kind of problematic. That's as deep as I'll go. I think that's stupid, personally. And if you don't think it's stupid, I think you need to get checked out. Yeah, I'm content with today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like the video. Share it with your friends. You know, let the world know about Gagatalk. I'm liking this. You know, this is a fun hobby. Starting a podcast might have been like the best idea I've ever had. I love talking. And it's just a way to get things off my chest. So, yeah. For the third time, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day. Thank you. Good night, y'all.